The regular meeting of the Aurora City Council for Monday, December 18, 2023 is called to order. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Kaufman.
Here.
Councilmember Bergen.
Here.
Councilmember Coombs. Councilmember Gardner.
Here.
Councilmember Hancock. Here. Councilmember Jurinski.
Here.
Councilmember Lawson.
Here.
Councilmember Medina.
Here.
Councilmember Murillo. Councilmember Sundberg.
Here.
And Mayor Pro Tem Zvonek.
Here.
There's a quorum.
Announcement of the call-in line.
City Council public on both matters appearing on the agenda and during public invited to be heard. If you would like to speak and have not already spoken to an operator, please press *3. For those watching on Channel 8, call 855-695-3475 and press *3 when connected. You will hear a prompt confirming you are in line to speak to an operator and then be able to continue listening to the meeting. When the operator comes on the line, please be ready to give them your name and agenda item you wish to speak on. Keep in mind you must press *3 before the city clerk reads the title of the item you wish to speak on. Finally, as a reminder, council does not allow comments about any items on the agenda during public invited to be heard. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes, and public invited to be heard is limited to 1 hour in total.
El Consejo Municipal de la Ciudad de Aurora da la bienvenida a la opinión de sus habitantes y otros vecinos en asuntos comparecientes en la agenda y durante la invitación a la audiencia. Esta sesión tiene disponible interpretación al español. Por favor, háganos saber si usted necesita ese servicio. Recuerde que el Consejo no permite comentarios de la audiencia mientras se dirigen asuntos de la agenda del día. Por favor, confirme su turno y espere a la invitación para comentario público. Gracias.
Please join me in an invocation. O Lord our God and our Father, we come to you and we ask that you would look upon this particular gathering tonight to keep us safe and guide us in our decisions. Bless our city with honorable citizens, industry, and education and good government. Unite our community together even though we come from different backgrounds. We pray that there be justice and peace in our city. Give the City Council and citizens the wisdom, direction, and sensitivity to the business and proceedings before us tonight. Hear us, therefore, as we commit this meeting to the help of the community. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Excuse me. I'd be in trouble. Councilmember Jurinski.
Tonight we have the Boy Scouts of America Troop 12 that are going to lead the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you all could come down. And are we presenting colors also? Are you guys coming down? Okay, got it. Who wants to take the lead on this? If you guys want to come around this way.
The tall one.
The tall one?
Him, right there.
Oh, you're the tall one. Okay. We're ready. Are we all in place over here?
Why don't you turn, I wonder if they should face
Here,
this
and then
way.
whatever you guys want to do right here.
Where do I stand?
Yes.
Are you calling them now?
Okay.
Color guard, attention. Audience, attention. Please stand for the presentation of the colors. Color guard, forward march. Color guard, halt. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great
Color
job.
guard, forward march. guard, halt. Color guard at ease, audience at ease.
Executive session update. During the executive session, we discussed litigation and property negotiations. Approval of the minutes. A motion is in order for the approval of the minutes from December 4th, 2023.
Mayor,
Councilmember Bergen.
motion to approve the minutes?
It's been moved by Councilmember Bergen, seconded by
Sundberg.
Councilmember Sundberg to approve the minutes of December 4th, 2023. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the approval of the minutes.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Gardner. Okay, the motion passes.
Swearing in ceremony of the city manager, Jason Batchelor, presiding judge Sean Day.
And if there's anybody here who wants to come forward to take pictures or photographs, feel free to do so. This is like Groundhog Day. We just did this, except with now we're leaving out one word. Mr. Batchelor, it's my great honor to administer the oath to you, so if you please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jason Batchelor, having been duly appointed as city manager for the city of Aurora, Colorado, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully and impartially administer the affairs of such office in accordance with the Constitution of the United States of America and of the state of Colorado and the charter and ordinances of the city of Aurora to the best of my judgment and ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
Well, it's not the first oath that our city manager has taken. I think probably 3 or 4 in the United States Army when you were sworn in as a cadet at the military academy, commissioned, second lieutenant, promoted, first lieutenant, promoted to captain. So
Yes, sir.
thank you for your service to our country, and thank you for our service to our city. Thank you. Public invited to be heard.
Mayor, there are some speakers in person. The first one is Eric Schanholzer, followed by Tanya Tabachek.
Everybody's looking at me, wondering what I'm going to talk about. All right. So, the only yard signs I still see is for a member that isn't on the board anymore, so hooray for everybody. But today, I am concerned about some comments that were made last month in this chamber, and I imagine will be made later this evening, although these comments are not directly towards agenda items. I rise to speak today to remind you that every single cent that governments have to spend was taken from a citizen, forcefully. Some would say stolen at gunpoint. Your primary responsibility as our elected employee is to be faithful stewards of these cents. So when I hear a member of this council say that you have to spend money or you will lose them, I hear an elected employee that has forgotten that responsibility. If you haven't spent it by now, you need to return it to the citizens as unneeded. Now, I realize some of the funds mentioned at that meeting were from ARPA, federal money, but it still supplies. I just wish that the federal government had Tabor like we do. Secondly, if this august body has set aside funds as reserved for particular emergency use, then to call for their use for another purpose opens the citizens for the effects that this body was concerned about in the past. If those events have not happened by the next budget cycle, then again, they should be returned to the citizens. Okay, thank you.
We have Tanya Tabachek, followed by Robbie DeYoung.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. The first thing I just wanted to bring up is I wanted to thank Councilman Jurinski for a situation she helped me with. One would think that you're able to speak your mind here in the council and to other people without being retributed against. My mom and me, we have two different avenues, and my dad and so forth, but everyone has a right to speak their mind and not be held accountable against it. I myself was held against something that I was not even in reference to. So that really hurt me really bad, and thanks to her, she helped me out on that. Another thing that I wanted to bring about is the public defender concern issue. I did watch the last city council study session, and Zabana clearly says exactly what is going on with this. And the same people are bringing, like, it's like a circle. You know, we need to work together to get this done, because every meeting that comes in, and you guys bring up the public defender, and they're upset that they are not appreciated and not this and that. And he's mentioning an analysis and trying to figure things out and so forth. No one's listening to each other. I mean, it's over and over again. The only other thing that I wanted to say was about the fire that was on Colfax. Some people are reporting, like a next door, our neighbor was saying, well, sounds like there's an arsonist, is like the third time in a month or whatnot. So we need to figure that out as well. But I also wanted to turn around and just say that this is the end of the year, and this is like the first full year that I've been to these meetings. And I'm still trying to learn a lot from them. But I do have there's certain ones that are brought up that have not heard from in a while, and it's about this census center that you guys are creating for the homelessness. I haven't really heard updated status on that. And also the prairie dogs. It seems like the prairie dog motion was going, and then it fell flat. So that as well. And I wish the best to everyone. Happy holidays, and thank you.
Okay, we have Robbie DeYoung, and she's the last person in person, and then we have one call-in.
Mayor, Council, thank you for hearing me today. First, I want to start out by saying, giving a huge thanks to our firefighters and first responders. I went over, because I live pretty close to where the first fire was, over by Aurora Parkway and south of Arapahoe. I sat in our church parking lot, and I couldn't even open the door to my car because the smoke was so thick. And then a brush fire started. Those guys were out there, those men and women were out there fighting those fires for more than 12 hours. It was probably more like 24. And then there was a fire, and I just happened to be over at University Hospital. There was a fire over on Peoria and Colfax. And that fire was even worse than the one that was over in Southlands. Then there was a fire before that, a few days before both of those, that was in Littleton. All three were buildings under construction. All three were very large buildings. And all three started about the same time. So I know that the ATF has been called on this to look into it further, but again, I can't give enough thanks to our firefighters and first responders. They went through a lot. However, I do want to say, because of those fires, I used to fight fires, believe it or not, when I was working for the Forest Service in New Mexico. And those homes in those areas are going to be having all kinds of issues with smoke damage because of the excessive smoke. So it's something as council members you need to be considering for your constituents. The other thing that I want to bring up is there was an abandoned car recently in Denver, and apparently they don't have the backlog like we do. That the residents got together and decorated it in Christmas decor. So maybe that's what we need to do.
Okay, we have one caller on the call-in line.
Hunter, go ahead.
Yes.
You have 3 minutes.
Yes. Hi, my name is Hunter Parnell, and I spoke recently at the Aurora City Council about 2 weeks ago about the Aurora privatization effort, and that's what I'm talking about again today. At the study session, Councilmember Jurinski, you stated that you found it somewhat offensive that individuals believe that you were not caring about the right to counsel, and I want to present you a few reasons why that might be. If you look at your comments over the past 2 years, on multiple occasions, you have referred to individuals who are being accused of a crime as criminals. That does not indicate somebody who is interested in the right to counsel, in the presumption of innocence, or due process. Councilmember Zvonek, you have repeatedly, along with Jono Scott, stated that you are looking to other municipalities in Colorado. You have said consistently that Colorado Springs operates a flat fee structure, and we should look to that. What I have heard no one on this council bring up at all is that a constitutional system? Experts have come before this council and have been brought before you and have repeatedly told you that flat fee contracts are almost universally agreed to be unconstitutional in their application. And the fact that yourself and Jono Scott continue to tell people to look to a municipality with a flat rate fee indicates that you are not listening. I agree with the previous speaker. You are not listening to the expert brought before you. At the study session, Councilmember Zvonek, you asked the question, where does it say flat rate fee in the contract? Well, the obvious point is the only way you can project how much saving this city will have by privatizing is by having a flat rate fee. If you only pay an hourly rate with no cap per case or cap total, you can't project how much money you'll save. It would be a farce that anybody could propose to you a number that you would take. It will, by definition, be a flat rate fee. And the fact that you keep pointing to Colorado Springs indicates that you seem to be fine with that system. You don't have a problem with it. Furthermore, when you point to the other municipalities in the state who don't have this office, this structure, have any of you questioned if they are providing constitutional representation? To my knowledge, there have been 2 studies of municipal courtrooms in this state, one in 2017 by the ACLU, which found constitutional violations were rampant across municipalities. That's why the OADC took control and the state stepped up. The other study was the 2021 study by the NLADA of this office, which found it to be exemplary. Somehow you want to compare the exemplary office to the ones we know have constitutional violations and say we should learn from them. This is why it is difficult to believe that members of this committee are interested in anything other than saving money, because there is not sufficient evidence to support that claim. Lastly, it comes down to the recent revelations by the Aurora Sentinel. This
Your time is up.
spent 60. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Mayor, I would like to respond, please.
Is there any more public invited to be heard?
No, Mayor.
Responses, Councilmember Jones.
Yeah, thank you. I would just like to clarify that some of the main times that I've been talking about criminals, and I do say criminals, like a debate we had on whether or not the taxpayers of this city should be funding classes for criminals. Now, if they've been sentenced to classes, correct me if I'm wrong, they've been found guilty of the crime that they've committed. So yes, I refer to them as criminals.
Further responses? Seeing none. Land acknowledgement. The City of Aurora acknowledges that we gather on the territories and ancestral homelands of the Cheyenne, Ute, Arapaho, and Lakota peoples, past and present. We also recognize the 48 contemporary tribal nations that are historically tied to the lands that make up the state of Colorado. Indigenous people have remained committed to the stewardship of this land over many centuries. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties that these nations have to their traditional homelands and to their vital place in the ecosystem are renewed and reaffirmed, and we are called upon to be better stewards of the land we inhabit as we continue to work to meet the needs of our entire community. Consent calendar, adoption, a motion is in order for the adoption of the agenda.
Mayor Drinsky.
Councilmember Jones.
I motion to adopt the agenda, removing items 10A8 through 10A19 from the agenda and moving it to the budget meeting.
I'm sorry, moving it where?
To the budget meeting? To the workshop.
Oh, okay, well, I guess that's okay.
And Mayor,
Second.
I'd like to pull something from the consent agenda.
Okay, well, we have to do adoption of the agenda first. So is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Drinsky, second by Councilmember Zavon, to move item number, is it continuance or just move? Continuance of item number 10A8 to 10A19 to the winter workshop. Do we know the dates for that? To February 3rd, for a discussion on February 3rd. Discussion?
Mayor.
Councilmember Coombs.
So this council has consistently kept moving this discussion forward. We knew this was going to be an issue in September. I asked that it be added to the budget workshop at that time. It was not added. I brought this before a study session, and no conversation was actually had about the details or the facts. It was all about people believing that these programs simply don't deserve to be funded at the full level. And I want to be really clear that if we move this to February, we just aren't going to have these programs. This isn't, oh, folks are going to keep waiting and keep waiting and keep waiting. If we move this to February, these providers are going to cut the programs as we're entering the coldest part of the year, and people are going to go without shelter. Families at the Goals program, which is basically ready to work, but for families, that folks here have touted, is just not going to be able to serve the number of families in Aurora that they currently serve. So there are going to be families that don't have workforce training and don't have housing during the coldest months of the year. They don't just sit and wait months and months and months for us to get our act together. And these are city services that we are funding. Yeah. We are funding these folks to operate programs for us. The nonprofits are not doing this just for themselves. They're doing it to provide services that we as a city require, that we as a city have historically funded, and that our residents need to remain housed during, again, or sheltered during the coldest months of the year. And just finally, there are many speculations and certainly many contributing factors around homelessness. However, the GAO did put out a report saying that a $100 increase in rent leads to a 9% increase in homelessness. And in the Denver metro area, and this is a metro-wide problem, it's not one city, we have seen a $1,300 increase in rents over a 10-year period. So that means we could expect to see a over 100% increase in the number of people experiencing homelessness, all other things being equal, and all other things aren't equal. There are other worse and compounding factors. So we are making a choice to ignore our obligation to take care of people, to make sure they're housed, to make sure that people have food, and that they don't, frankly, die in the cold. And that's a policy choice that we're making, and that we've had months and months and months to avoid.
Mayor.
I recognize myself first and then Councilmember Bergen. And that is, I do think we've had sufficient discussion on this issue, and there will be two proposals actually before you tonight. A proposal by Councilmember Coombs for flat funding for a year, and a proposal by myself that will take a kind of a decrease that will go 2/3 of basically full funding this year, and then it will go to 1/3 next year, although we can't budget multi-year, but that's the expectation, that they'd be on a glide path down as opposed to a cliff. And so if we convene in February to make a decision, that means there's no funding in January. And so I would ask that, obviously, that you would consider either supporting the Coombs or the Coffin proposal tonight. Councilmember Bergen.
Yes, thank you. I think that's quite the exaggeration to say that we are going to have people dying in the streets and that we are basically not funding them when we did fund them. So we did not fund them to the level that we have in the past. And for the audience, we had a decrease in our marijuana sales tax revenues, which is why our staff recommended to us what cuts had to be made to be responsible. Otherwise, we would be having to take it out of a different general fund. So to say that they're not funded is false, because they are funded. They are not funded to the level that they requested. And all we are saying is that we would like to re-examine the different requests, the different proposals. We have two proposals coming forward, and we would like to examine those at February 3rd workshop. They're going to have monies for January. No one's going to lose funding. They've got enough money probably through mid-year at least to be even fully funded as they were in the past. So the fact, that's just not true, what you said. They are funded. They're not funded to the fullest capacity that they requested. We also, in past years, were able to get federal dollars from CARES Act and from the American Rescue Act. And those funds do not exist anymore. Yes, we have balances in some of them, and that is what we're asking to really take the time to analyze at the budget work or the winter workshop. So we're trying to be responsible. We're trying to make sure to spend taxpayer monies wisely. Some of you have asked for security cameras in our parks, and we have to say no, because we don't have the capital monies to pay for those. Some of you have asked for roads to be done and sidewalks to be repaired and other things, and so and police needs and fire station needs, and we really need to look at this holistically at that workshop and make sure that we prioritize what is most important. It does not mean that we're not going to give some funding to the organizations that came before us.
Could I have staff come down, please? Relevant staff.
Mayor.
Councilmember Coombs.
Just as a clarification, the organizations have made it abundantly clear that they will cut down their programs in proportion to their budget cuts as of January 1. Okay. So we can say that's not going to happen, but they have said that is what we will have to do. We cannot budget to June and then budget from June to December.
So, Mayor, point of order.
Councilmember Gardner.
How do we have staff coming down when we have not approved an agenda? The question before us is whether or not we're approving the agenda.
I have some questions of staff.
I would like to motion to call for the question.
It's a non-debatable
Second.
It's, can you do that on the adoption?
That's true.
So then we would adopt the agenda, but
You're
then,
going to a motion to end debate,
right.
so, and that's not debatable, so that's the first issue that you need to do.
Okay, but that's on the adoption of the agenda, but then.
Correct.
You can't amend it. Well, it would be to the amendment that was already done, to the agenda, we had, so then we're going to decide on deferring.
So you're going to
Okay.
end debate, that's the first.
Right.
Is ending debate, and then you.
We'll vote on the Jurenski motion. Right, okay, very well. Non-debatable motion,
Mayor?
call for the
What if we still have a few comments we'd like to make, according to Councilmember
Yeah, it's
Coombs?
a call for the question, I don't believe.
I'd like to respond to something she said.
A motion to end debate is.
The motion is to call
Call for the question.
Mayor, who seconded the,
So it's moved by Councilmember Jurenski, second by Councilmember Zvonek to move item number,
The call to question was made by Gardner and seconded by.
oh, Gardner.
Bergen.
Okay, call for the question, I'm sorry.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes no.
Councilmember Zvonek,
Yes.
Councilmember Sundberg,
Yes.
Councilmember Hancock.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. The motion passes.
Okay, now to the question, item number is deferring the adoption of the agenda with the, adoption of the agenda with the exception of moving item number 10A8 to 10A19 to the February, was it,
Third,
to February 3rd workshop.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes no.
Councilmember Hancock. The motion passes.
Very well. Consent calendar motions, item number 10A1 to 10A7.
Mayor? I'm sorry, I don't mean to get ahead of myself, but I wanted to pull something from the other consent calendar in the 11 section.
It'd be item number 10A1 to 10A7.
Okay.
Mayor, there's a speaker for 10A6.
Okay. Proceed with the speaker.
Robbie DeYoung.
Okay, I'm not really sure if I'm going to be addressing this correctly, because I'm not too sure about this particular topic as far as the council is concerned. As far as myself is concerned, I have had 2 horrible experiences with contractors and my roof. One was about 14 years ago. One I'm going through right now that I'm having to go through legal aid to get help with. We need to have as much oversight on our roofers and contractors regarding what they are getting away with when it comes to the constituents, because they are railroading people into doing things like, I was asked when I first got my roofing permit, they wanted me to sign some paperwork so that I could get a loan so that I could pay for whatever insurance didn't pay for. They up front started asking me for more money than they knew one way or another that the insurance company was going to take care of. So anything that can be done to improve the city's oversight of roofers in this city would be very much appreciated from people that have been taken advantage of. I truly believe that it has a lot to do with me being a female and me being a senior. Thank you.
There aren't any more speakers.
Motion before us is the adoption of the consent calendar for motions.
Mayor, motion to,
10A1 to 10A7, motion.
Mayor, motion to approve 10A1 through 10A7.
Moved by Councilmember Gardner, second by
Drinsky.
Councilmember Jinsky. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of the consent calendar, items number 10A1 to 10A7.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Coombs,
Yes, sorry, I submitted an e-script.
okay, the motion passes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Batchelor, on 10A6.
This is just to address the citizen. We appreciate the comments there. We do require that anybody that is pulling a roofing permit in the city of Aurora use a licensed contractor so that we have some guarantees that they're using licensed contractors. And then what this contract allows us to do, what item 10A6 does, is ensures that if typically after a hailstorm, our building inspectors are overwhelmed. So what this contract does is allow us to bring in outside inspectors to make sure that folks are following the building code. So that's what this does. Typically, absent a hailstorm, our building inspectors are doing it. Right now in Aurora, when you call for a building inspection, you're getting that inspection within 24 hours, 99.9% of the time. But this contract just allows us, in the event of a hailstorm, to make sure that we are doing that work that the speaker talked about.
Consent calendar resolutions and ordinances. Item number 11A1
Mayor, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
to 11A11.
I'd like to pull 11A 3, please.
11A3.
Mayor, we do have 3 speakers on 11A3.
Okay, very well. Proceed, please. Oh,
Mayor,
Councilmember Gardner.
motion to approve 11A1 through 11B1 with 11A3 removed.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Gardner, second by Councilmember Coombs to approve the consent calendar for resolutions and ordinances with the exception of 11A3. Discussion? Seeing none, call for the question.
The motion passes.
11A3. Was there 3? Okay. Go ahead and have the, let's do the speakers first.
Okay, we have Margaret Booker, followed by Paul Rufian.
Good evening to Mayor Kaufman and all of our city council members. Let me just first of all apologize. I have a bad case of laryngitis. Good, I can tell you I don't have COVID, so I'm not spreading a lot of germs. I first and foremost want to say thank you to Steve Sundberg, who has worked tirelessly, at least I know, for a week or more in working with our community. And I appreciate his efforts to help us get this resolved. I am here to speak on behalf of a large number of residents at Murphy Creek community. We have a Metro board that is the Murphy Creek Metro District 3 board. We all received notice in this past week that the Arapahoe County Court had made a decision to remove the current board members of the of Murphy Creek Metro District 3 members. I'm here to represent, I have signatures of well over 300 people who have asked that I speak on behalf of the community residents of Murphy Creek regarding this issue. We need a decision tonight First of all, let me say to you, my husband and I have been residents of Murphy Creek since 2001. We contracted our house in 2000. In 2000, we're among the very first members to even move into that community. We have continued to support the community and have been active in many, many ways. Over the past number of years, there have been many individual and collective efforts made by community residents to raise concern about the current Metro District Board members. We have tried many things. I am prepared to give you a few examples of things that have happened that raise real questions about the fiscal management and the management that has been happening with Denver, with Murphy Creek's Metro Denver 3 board. A couple of examples, more recent examples that I'd like to share with you is that we believed from the very beginning that when the Metro board members were appointed and moved from the developer to this community board, that this community board was to represent the community and not to simply serve their own personal interests in what they wanted in the community. Unfortunately, that is not what we have witnessed over the years. And I, as a resident, have been very active for the last 5 years, trying to bring about some resolution to the concerns of our Metro board members. Most of those have not been addressed. The most recent was, and does involve
Ms. Booker, your time
a
is up.
lawsuit. Am I done
Sorry,
already?
there's a 3-minute limit.
I'm sorry?
There's a 3-minute limit. I'm sorry.
I have to be able to finish what I'm asking for.
Is there any objection to allowing an extension? Very well.
Okay, thank you. I want to tell you I'm not here to talk about emotions and of things that have happened. Our community has become fractured as a result of the not only actions but the inactions of our current Metro board. The facts are this: there are at least 3 lawsuits that are still hanging out there against the Metro District and against 3 individual members in our community. And that is the most recent thing that happened, where the Metro Board approved having the easement that feeds all of the driveways in the parkways, which is part of our development, having them jackhammer up the concrete and extend a person's lawn to prevent people from being able to pass through and buy Mr. West's home. That was not done with city approval, and currently the city of the city of Aurora is suing the Metro Board as regards that. That is a fact. There are other lawsuits that are still pending that the board has brought against the original developers and others that we have watched hundreds of thousands of dollars go out of the funds that are actually put there by all of us residents to pay for lawsuits that have not won one single thing in favor of the Metro District. There have been failures on the part of this Metro District to refinance the bonds, the original bonds that were put together for that community to be developed. That should have been done a minimum of 3 or 4 years ago when we had interest rates of 2 to 3%. We now have a situation where we have no board members because they have been removed by the court. We need desperately for this city council to appoint new members tonight so that we can follow through with and complete the required certification for refinancing of our bonds. I have been in direct contact with the investment company that has presented to the past board members about refinance. It does appear to be very good. I have assurance from them that we can get that refinance done if we can get board members appointed tonight. And I would defer to Steve Sundberg, who I know has interviewed a number of candidates who made application to become part of the board and were not allowed to be put on the board. And I will defer to Steve with the hope that this city council will will appoint tonight a minimum of 3 members, if not all 5 members, for an interim board so that on Wednesday, we can meet a deadline of being able to get the resolution for the refinance to happen. I'd be more than happy to talk to any of you about all of the things that have happened. Our community's fractured. We need City
Thank you very
Council to
much.
act tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Paul Ruffian, followed by Margaret Sobey.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Paul Ruffian. I'm General Counsel for the Murphy Creek Metropolitan District Number 3. Perhaps I might need a little over 3 minutes as well, if I could be afforded that, but I will try to move as quickly as I can through this. Agreement with the prior speaker, the Murphy Creek District needs action from this council tonight. That is something that has been requested by the district. Frankly, we need your help. Through internal investigation, concerns raised by residents, and complaint filed by opposition in a lawsuit, some irregularities were discovered regarding the construction of the current board. Rather than fight over that in court, which may take months, we need to act now. We need to move now, and the district board has decided to try to fix that now, and that's the resolution that's here before you currently. The resolution is phrased to appoint the existing 3 board members who were elected in May, uncontested, nobody ran against them, and have served for over a year, are intimately involved with the district and its very critical issues. The timing is critical because it's budget season. A budget has to be adopted very soon just for this district to continue to exist. Refinancing was mentioned. The current board members had refinancing in place, have been working with a highly qualified bond team, renowned underwriters, bond counsel to get that in motion, and those wheels are in motion. But frankly, only this current board could keep those wheels currently in motion. Contrary to what was just stated, it's impossible for a resolution to be adopted on Wednesday, except for the existing team that is in place to do that. Otherwise, it could be done, but it would take more time. The city lawsuit regarding the easement, you likely know, the attorney's office certainly knows, terms of settlement have been reached. The concrete is back, and that would be on the agenda for approval as well on Wednesday if that lawsuit is to be resolved. Another lawsuit, one other lawsuit that was mentioned, the developer of the community sued the district, not the other way around. The developer is seeking to not pay fees that have been put in place by the district, and the district needs those fees. If the district were to lose that particular lawsuit, fees among the residents would go up. That's being handled by Insurance Defense Council, not by myself, but I think I certainly would have been notified if any such order removing board members would have come down. That is not the case. This is a voluntary action before the board or the council today, seeking to have appointment. There is latitude that the council has. The resolution, again, would reappoint the existing board members who are in place and have been elected. There have been 2 vacancies for a period of a couple of months, and the board was in the process of filling those vacancies. If Councilman Sundberg has received those names, I think I provided those names, and an interview would be appropriate. May I continue just for another moment?
You know, yes, but I think you're repeating a lot of the information we already have, but please sum it up.
Okay, I appreciate that, and I appreciate that you do have the information. The Assistant County Attorney has worked diligently on this, I know. If the council would like to appoint 5, the 3 existing board members plus 2 that have applied, I don't think there would be objection from the district. It was working towards doing that anyway. I think that would be a fair compromise and a fair resolution. If there are not any other questions, as the mayor indicates, you've had extensive information from the district that has been provided by me and the board chair.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Next, we have Margaret Sobey.
Good evening. My name is Margie Sobey, and I have lived in Murphy Creek, Metro District Number 3, for 18 years, both as a homeowner and as a renter. Murphy Creek is a wonderful neighborhood, and I got very involved as soon as I moved in. I attended the Metro District and Master HOA meetings, sometimes being the only homeowner in attendance. I founded the social committee along with one other homeowner. I founded a neighborhood coalition, and I'm also a founding member of 2 neighborhood associations, all designed to assist Metro District communities. I'm on the board of one citizens advisory group with a particular concern for Murphy Creek. I served as president of the Master HOA board, and I am currently serving as a consultant for the Murphy Creek Metro District Number 3. I only mention my involvement because I want to stress that tonight my testimony is my own and is not a reflection of any of the boards, committees, groups, or employers with which I may be associated. Board members cannot be expected to know everything. Therefore, they rely very heavily on their vendors and consultants. During my time on the Master HOA board, we had 3 different management companies and more community managers than I can even remember. We also had legal counsel, auditor, and vendor changes. This gave me firsthand experience with different types of vendor transitions, and they are not easy, even when all involved have the best intentions. Finding and retaining good staff members is always challenging, but it seems as though the last 4 or 5 years have been even more difficult. There is oftentimes a shortage of staff members and a great deal of turnover. This creates a perfect opportunity for mistakes to happen and important events to fall through the cracks and not be discovered in a timely manner. This is what has happened in Murphy Creek, rather than failings by the board members. I know each of the 3 board members you are being asked to appoint tonight, and I am very comfortable saying that we need these 3 back on the district board in order to keep our district moving in the right direction. They are not focused and informed on just a few special interest topics that might be most visible to a vocal minority in the neighborhood. Instead, they are involved in all aspects of the district and have the big picture and the best interests of the community at heart. Due to the anticipated increase in property taxes, it is important that these 3 individuals be appointed to the board so they can make the necessary financial decisions to help keep property taxes from having a large detrimental impact on the homeowners. I respectfully ask that you appoint Doug Schreiner, Bob Geiser, and Richard Berge to the Board of Directors of Murphy Creek Metro District Number 3 so they can continue their service to the neighborhood. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Is there anybody else who wishes to
No more.
speak on this issue? Very well. A brief presentation by staff.
I'll just mention from a staff standpoint, per state statute, city council may appoint a board when that board is vacant, and the failure to appoint that board would result in interruption of services.
Are there any questions of staff? Seeing none, motion is in order.
Mayor, if I could comment.
Before, I'm sorry, would the clerk please read the title to item number 11A3?
Item 11A3 is Resolution 2023-157, adopting directors to the Board of Directors of Murphy Creek Metropolitan District Number 3.
Councilmember Summer.
So this obviously is a pretty unique situation. This doesn't come before our council very often. It's better left up to voters to decide board members and elected officials, but this is unique and it's in our hands at this point. I would have to say that Richard, Bob, Doug, Margie, they care about their community. They've worked hard. I know Doug has worked behind the scenes to keep our neighborhood safe, working with a private security firm, making sure things are in order, bringing the community together for certain things such as car shows and National Night Out. I've worked with you on that. But this is a hard position for me to be in, and over the last couple of weeks there has been an evolution in my thinking towards it. Doug, in an email to me, said, "We would all happily step aside if someone is compelled or committed and willing to do the work." So having said that, and interviewed 5 candidates myself, who I believe are very caring, qualified, committed, have shown up to meetings, I believe there really should be a changing of the guard in Murphy Creek. There's a legacy of extremely high litigious lawyers' fees, probably in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, against the developer. The developer's probably paid $600,000 to $700,000 himself defending that. and just some bravado and some decisions that were rogue to go against the city in the alleyway and so forth. But, at the same time, appreciating the work, I am going to amend my resolution to appoint 5 new members to the Murphy Creek District 3 Board. And these 5 individuals are Dennis Lyons, Joshua Rodriguez, Glenton Miller, Alex Ortiz, and Margaret Booker. And I ask my colleagues to support me. Thank you.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Sundberg, seconded by?
Zvonek.
Seconded by Councilmember Zvonek, to put forward the 5 names in nomination to be on the Metro Board. Is there discussion?
Mayor?
Councilmember Bergen.
Since Councilmember Sundberg obviously represents Ward 2 and actually lives in that district, I would have to probably follow his recommendation of those directors. But I will say this is highly unusual. I've been here 8 years and never had to do this. In fact, I had in my own ward a similar situation come up with one of the metro districts that had a lot of disagreements, and I had to go back and talk to them and encourage them to do another election. Obviously, they didn't end up with this situation of a deadline with no board members, but it's typically not a good situation for council to have to get involved in appointing your own directors for a metro district. But again, I will follow the lead of our council member that lives in Murphy Creek.
Further discussion?
Mayor.
Councilmember Coombs.
So I guess if we wanted to not overturn the will of the people that already participated in an election, we could amend the resolution instead to appoint the 3 people who have actually been elected and 2 others, instead of ignoring the fact that those 3 people have been elected and doing 5 whole reappointments.
Well, question is, I'm sorry, please.
So yeah, so that would be my recommendation, would be to appoint the 3 and then 2 additional.
Question of staff, and that is that the election was somehow compromised. Is that correct?
I think the issue was that the vacancies were due to the oaths of office for the board not being filed by the required date. And so to kind of respond to your question, Councilmember Coombs, as long as it's an eligible elector within the district, so a resident, I think any one would be fair game.
Okay. Further discussion?
Mayor?
I'm sorry.
Yes, I would move to amend to appoint the 3 in the original resolution, along with, I believe we received some communication from folks around this, so Margaret Booker and Alex Ortiz.
Okay, the Coombs motion, substitute motion, is to put forward the 3 names that were elected, despite the filing irregularities. Is there a second to that motion?
Medina.
Moved by Councilmember Coombs, seconded by Councilmember Medina. Discussion on the Coombs proposal, substitute motion. Seeing none, call for the question on the Coombs substitute motion.
Councilmember Zvonek? Councilmember Medina? Okay. The motion fails with 3 yes votes from Councilmember Medina, Councilmember Coombs. Sorry, just two yes votes from Councilmember Medina and Councilmember Coombs.
Who's the third?
The motion fails.
Oh, there was a third. Okay, very well. Back to the Sundberg motion. Who seconded Sundberg motion? Councilmember Zvonek. Discussion on the Sundberg motion.
Mayor.
Councilmember Coombs.
So I guess there's just a concern, right? There was a filing irregularity, but there are 3 people that the residents actually voted for it. We're voting to overturn that election, essentially.
Councilmember Gardner.
I guess I'm still not clear. I haven't heard one valid argument. I mean, I understand that there needs to be people on this Metro District Board to carry out their business, but I haven't heard one valid argument for why City Council should step in. This is, to me, highly irregular. A Metro District is a independent governmental entity created under state law that I don't believe council should have any say in who is and isn't on the board. So I guess I'm not clear why it is that we should have to get involved whatsoever. Other than, I mean, I understand the argument that they need to carry out their business, but I guess I don't understand why that's our concern.
So
Could staff respond?
Because I'm concerned about going down this path of appointing Metro District directors when that is not our lane.
Yeah, and I concur. It is slightly unprecedented in the district items that I've dealt with over the years. I would say that the parameters for that being met, and I'll defer to my attorney here, would be that the vacancies are resulting in interruption of services because of that bond refinancing, and so appointing the board at the end of the year so they can get the board meeting done by the end of the year and then have that bond issuance happening in January, I believe is why this is happening at this.
Well, I believe there's a requirement under state law, is there not?
Correct.
Please.
It's a statutory.
Yeah.
That's correct, Mr. Mayor. There is a statutory provision that allows, in this case, the city to appoint a board when the board's entirely vacant, as is the case with Murphy Creek.
Does it allow or require?
It allows.
Okay, very well.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion? Seeing.
Mayor, I have a question. I'm sorry, I just need some clarity. So if we do nothing, does this mean that they will not be able to go forward with the bond initiatives and the problem that they're having right now? Is that correct?
With respect to the bond issuance, I would defer to legal counsel for the district. I am not particularly familiar with that. I can say that there are requirements of the district to make certain filings by January 10th that include a certification of the mill levy as well as the 2024 budget. That's a statutory requirement, and without a board, I don't see how they could make those deadlines.
So it's happening, if we don't do anything tonight, the residents can't vote on their own and take hold of this issue on their own? Or would there be a substantial delay in their being able to do that?
Should City Council appoint a board tonight, the requirement would be that there would be an election within the district within 6 months of tonight's appointment for the residents of the district to elect a board at that time. There would be a special election. Again, to your question about the ongoing services of the district, I know that without a board, they could not make those filings that are required by statute. And again, I would defer to legal counsel for the district with respect to the bond issuance at the beginning of the year.
Okay. Further questions, Councilmember Hancock?
I'm just concerned to Councilmember Gardner's point that this kind of sets an interesting precedent for the council to get involved in this kind of thing. I understand the conundrum. I do understand where you're at, but it's just, are we really acting properly by getting involved in this? Does this set a precedent that we don't really want to go down?
It's,
it's
statutory authority to do it. Councilmember Bergen.
Yeah, it is highly irregular. However, the attorney just said that we have the authority to do that by law, to appoint in certain circumstances. So we can. And also, there will be a special election, correct me if I'm wrong, Councilmember Sundberg, but in, I believe, May. So this is really a temporary solution, and then the voters. But my understanding was from the prior speaker was that in order to refinance, they have to have a resolution this month to be able to go out to bond.
So then will be able to go back and have their own thing later.
Yeah, I think you need to be recognized by the mayor first.
Sorry, Mayor.
Please proceed.
Mayor.
Well, are you finished, Councilmember?
Well, I was just going to say, Mayor, that then if what we do tonight, if we move forward and have the people that you recommend, then in 4 to 6 months, they'll be able to take a responsibility for their own governance again. An election in 6 months. Is that correct?
Mayor,
Okay.
call for the question.
Did you have a question? Councilmember Jurenski.
Call for the question, please.
Motion to call for the question. Is there a second? Without a second, the motion to call for the question fails. We are back to the Sundberg motion. And let me just say that I defer to the council member or the elected official who lives in that metro district to make that decision, given state law. Further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the Sundberg amendment. Not amendment. Well, would this be Sundberg motion to item number 11A3? Call for the question.
Okay, the motion passes.
Do I have to vote on that? Now we're doing it. Okay, very well.
Mayor Hoffman, Representative Bergen, Danielle Durance, Angela Lawson, you all have passed a resolution in Aurora, Colorado, and $5 million to Israel. That can house 600 in Colorado, 1,762 children can receive health care. That can fund 55 elementary schools.
Out of order.
134 students. Hospitals.
We have the Boy Scouts here.
Can we remove them?
Never forget. All of your hands.
Well, why can't I understand why they can't be removed? The time is now 7:36. We will be in recess until 8 o'clock. Until 7:45. Council's now in recess.
Item 12A is ordinance 20. Item 12A is ordinance 2023-66, a public hearing and consideration of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Aurora, Colorado, amending the 2018 comprehensive plan to change the place type from city corridor to emerging neighborhood for area located south of 56th Avenue between Piccadilly Road and E470.
The public hearing is now open. Presentation by staff.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I'm Debbie Bickmeyer, a senior planner in the Planning and Development Services Department. I am making a presentation on items 12A through C in a combined presentation. There we go. Okay. The applicant, Clayton Properties Group 2, is requesting to amend the comprehensive plan and to rezone the area indicated in the vicinity map, which is located south of 56th Avenue and east of Piccadilly Road. The subject area is a part of the Green Valley Ranch master planned area. The subject area of the proposed comprehensive plan amendment is located north of future 52nd Avenue, east of Piccadilly, and consists of 78.8 acres. The applicant is requesting to amend the place type from city corridor place type to emerging neighborhood place type, which will modify the primary land uses from mixed-use residential, commercial, and retail uses to predominantly residential uses. The applicant's request is to support their plan to expand the existing active adult community located south of 52nd Avenue. The applicant is also requesting two zoning map amendments. The first is to rezone 78.8 acres located between Piccadilly and Tibet Road, north of proposed 52nd Avenue, from mixed-use airport to medium-density residential. This area aligns with the comprehensive plan amendment request for emerging neighborhood place type, and the proposed R2 zoning will enable the applicant to expand the existing active adult community. A second zoning map amendment is proposed for 28.3 acres to change mixed-use regional district to mixed-use airport district for an area located east of Tibet Road that is bisected from the rest of the MUR area by a series of gas easements. The applicant requests to rezone this area to permit various residential uses as well as retail and commercial. The uses are permitted in the MUA consistent with the uses in the MUR, and the area can be developed to act as a transition to a higher density development anticipated in the mixed-use regional district. As previously stated, the subject area is included in the Green Valley Ranch Master Plan, initially approved in 2008, and is currently being amended to update the land uses and include design standards for the area north of future 52nd Avenue up to 56th Avenue. The entire master plan includes the area south of 56th to 38th Avenue between Piccadilly and E470. The current master plan amendment addresses the strategic location of the subject property, which is adjacent to two major street corridors. The proposed comprehensive plan amendment and the zoning map amendments support the development of commercial uses and higher density residential along these street corridors. Staff finds the proposed comprehensive plan amendment and zoning map amendments meet the approval criteria provided in the UDO. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted 6-0 in a public hearing on October 25th to recommend approval of the comprehensive plan and zoning map amendments to City Council. Commissioner Ahern was absent. The Planning Commission meeting minutes will be provided to Council in their packet prior to the second reading of the ordinance. Completes my presentation. I am available for questions.
Is there a presentation by the applicant?
Yes, there is.
Good evening. I have to sit. It's a little bit strange for me. My name is Layla Rosales. I'm with Terracina Design. I am the planner and landscape architect representing Green Valley Ranch. I have 2 slides because Debbie did a great job, so I'm going to keep it simple for you. I don't see them though. I see them there. I don't see them up there.
They're on here.
Do you see them?
No.
Okay.
Ben?
Did I bump something?
Take care of it. Yep.
Perfect. So Debbie did a great job of explaining to you what our request is tonight. I think my job for you is just to kind of give you a quick summary of kind of where we are in the development of Green Valley Ranch and kind of give you some information on what it is we're doing out there. We're kind of excited about what's been happening out there the past number of years. We've got approximately 300 homes that'll be built out over this master plan that you're seeing here, and which is coming quickly. We already have about 1,500 of them platted and entitled, with about 750 of them built. So about 750 homes that are occupied right now out at Green Valley Ranch in Aurora. Our goal is to create a diverse community with a variety of housing options and commercial businesses that we hope will provide some employment for some of our residents. This parcel, this 300, we call it the 310 parcel because it's 310 acres. That's really clever, aren't we? Which is north of 52nd Avenue, between 52nd and 56th. Is the last of our holdings in this area, and I'm sure that you're well aware that development in this area is happening fast. So with a large number of homes built in this area, we're excited about being able to complete this master plan. Again, as Debbie said, I get to show the pretty pictures. This is an illustrative of the entitlements and the homes that we're building out there, including a school site, some parks, and additional amenity and trail corridors throughout the community. But the comp plan amendment and the rezone allows us to market the premium commercial ground along 56th Avenue, which you see there in the, I guess that's beige, along 56th Avenue on the far left of the screen, as well, while keeping and expanding our residential neighborhood and providing the residents with a more compatible adjacent use. Again, going to the pink, which is on the top left of the screen, which will be some regional commercial. So with that, I don't have a lot more to add. We just appreciate your time on this tonight, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Is there anybody who wishes to be heard on this issue?
No, Mayor.
Very well. Questions of staff, the applicant, or the applicant? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Motion is in order.
Which one is that? Mayor,
Councilmember Bergen.
motion to approve 12A.
Been moved by Councilmember Bergen, seconded by
Sundberg.
Seconded by Councilmember Sundberg to approve item number 12A. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 12A.
Councilmember Zvonik? Councilmember Gardner?
Oh, yes. I already voted.
Councilmember Gardner? Or- All right, the motion passes.
Will clerk now please read the title to item number 12B?
Item 12B is ordinance 2023-67, a public hearing and consideration of an ordinance for a zoning map amendment to rezone 78.8 acres of land to medium-density residential district located west of Tibet Road between East 54th Avenue and 52nd Avenue.
Public hearing is now open. Is there any additional presentation by staff?
No, there isn't.
Any additional presentation by the applicant?
Not unless you want me to sing or something. No, I got nothing.
Does anybody else wish to be heard on this issue? Seeing none, are there questions of staff or the applicant? Seeing none, public hearing is now closed, and a motion is in order.
Mayor, I move to approve 12B.
Moved by Councilmember Sundberg, seconded by Councilmember Hancock to approve item number 12B. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 12B.
The motion passes.
Will clerk now please read the title to item number 12C?
Item 12C is ordinance 2023-68, a public hearing and consideration of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Aurora, Colorado for a zoning map amendment to rezone 28.3 acres of land to mixed-use airport located east of Tibet Road.
Public hearing is now open. Is there further presentation by staff?
No additional.
Further presentation by the applicant? Does anybody wish to be heard on this issue?
No.
Very well. Questions of staff or the applicant? Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Motion is...
Mayor, I move to approve 12C.
Moved by Councilmember Sundberg, second by Councilmember Hancock to approve item number 12C. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 12C.
The motion passes.
Thank you.
Clerk, now please read the title to item number 12D.
Item 12D is ordinance 2023-69, a public hearing and consideration of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Aurora, Colorado for a zoning map amendment to rezone 5.0244 acres of land to medium-density residential district located at the northeast corner of Sable Boulevard and East Montview Boulevard. And Mayor, there is one speaker.
Very well.
Dean Antweiler.
Oh, I'm going to go staff applicant and then the speaker.
Yes, sorry.
Very well. Presentation by staff.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, members of the council. My name is Aisha Tibbs. I'm a planning supervisor for the City of Aurora, presenting to you item 12D, the zoning map amendment for the Sable Boulevard Townhome Project. She took my remote. The subject site is 5.02 acres located at the northeast corner of Sable Boulevard and Montview Boulevard. The site is surrounded by single-family residential to the north and east of the site, multifamily to the west, and manufactured housing to the south. The property is currently zoned rural residential, which is our lowest density residential district. This allows only one dwelling unit per acre. Here's an example of what the zoning map amendment would look like. The applicant is requesting a zoning map to be changed to R2 medium density residential. This is to allow the construction of a townhome project on the property. Public notice for tonight's hearing was mailed, posted, and published not less than 10 days prior to the hearing. And staff has not received any public comment for or against the application for tonight's hearing. Staff finds that the application complies with the zoning map amendment criteria of the Unified Development Ordinance. Lastly, the Planning Commission did make an unanimous recommendation of approval following the public hearing held on November 21st. Therefore, staff asks if the City Council wishes to approve an ordinance to amend the City of Aurora zoning map for the Sable Townhomes project. This concludes staff's presentation. The agent for the application, Jeff Nyleb, is present and available to answer any questions, but does not have a presentation. Thank you.
Is there an applicant?
No presentation by applicant, but they are present to answer questions.
Very well. The individual wishes to speak on this issue.
Yes, it's Dean Antweiler.
Mayor, Council, my name's Dean Antweiler. I live in Ward 1. I live down the road from that, where you're going to want to do the rezoning. On December 1st, your Planning Commission hearing results sent an email to a fellow, Diaz. Congratulations, your application for rezone and the site plan was recommended by the Planning Commission. In this, it gets into a traffic engineering. And now, I don't know if you all get around a lot. I would think you would to a certain extent. Sable is a very busy street. There's Peoria. The next north-south is Sable. The next north-south is Chambers. Those are so full of traffic all the time. Now, they did a warrant study because there's a traffic light that will go in, or that's planned to go in. It's in the future at some time. It's going to have to go in. They did some traffic studies on this in this warrant study. It's a 30-page study. I've got a copy of it. I contacted your traffic engineer. He sent me a copy of it, and I looked at it. And it's in conflict. The conflict is between the city engineer and the engineering firm that did the study. The engineering firm does high and low counts, but they did their counts on August 22nd, 2022. That's during COVID. Traffic was down, and it's still plenty, but it was down. Now, they're telling us, or they're saying that and they use some kind of computer algorithm to say, yeah, we're going to have a traffic light there in 2040. That's 17 years from now. They need that light there now. And with that study that they did, part of this, the developer is going to have to put that in. He needs to put it in now. Sable, Saturday, there was wrecks there all the time. There's only 2 stoplights, one on Smith Road and one on Colfax. It's 35 mile an hour through there, which means it's 45. People don't follow anything. Somebody trying to cross across Sable in that intersection when they put these homes in there, they ain't got a chance, especially a mother trying to push a little wagon across there. It ain't going to work. They need to have a stoplight put in there. Now's the time to do it. I've got a disc that I burned for you guys. I can give it, I don't know if you'd like to see it. I've got paperwork to back up everything I've said. Reading the conflict between the 2 engineers, it's pretty clear to me that this thing needs to be set back for a month or so to let you guys study this. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions of staff, the applicant, or the individual who just testified?
Mayor?
Councilmember Bergen.
Just question for, do we have anyone from traffic here?
I do not believe so. Traffic did not come up at the Planning Commission.
Okay, I was going to ask if they could comment on what the constituent just stated about the signal, and would the developer be able to put it in earlier?
So
Maybe, is that the?
yeah, so this request is regarding specifically the zoning application. Those comments were made regarding the development of the site, which are primarily focused on the site plan. Obviously, the traffic study and the traffic proposal is reviewed under the site plan purview with the Planning Commission. They don't impact necessarily the decision of the zoning amendment today.
No, I understand it doesn't impact it. I was just asking if there was anyone that could comment on what the constituent said, but thank you. Okay.
Further questions of staff, or is the applicant here? Okay. Oh, I wonder if you could comment on Councilmember Bergen's question.
Yeah, hi, my name is Jeff Nylub. I am a senior land use planner with Kephart Community Planning and Architecture, and we've been working with the city. Our engineer is ESC Engineering, and they've been working with Public Works with that. And so they've worked with Public Works on a traffic impact study. The ESC is not here tonight, but I don't know if anybody from Aurora Public Works can comment on that, but we have not been notified of any traffic signal that needs to be improved upon Sable, Montview, or East 21st. There are street improvements in that area that we are providing, but we were not informed of a traffic signal.
Mayor,
Mr. Baxter.
I definitely have a current concern. Did I talk too soon?
To wait to be recognized by myself.
Sorry.
And
Thought you
Mr.
said
Baxter is
yes.
recognized at this time.
I thought he said yes.
So typically from a permitting standpoint, as you heard from Ms. Tibbs, this is a zoning, but typically as part of that site plan, we will get a public improvement plan, and for intersections, we will require the developer to escrow funds, as Mr. Antweiler had noted, so that those funds would be there. So at this point, we're looking at a question of timing. So we'll have to probably go in and look at the requirements, if there's going to be a signal there, and whether or not we're requiring those funds to be escrowed, so we can get the details on that.
So, Mayor?
Councilmember Jurenski.
Yeah, so with that being said, with the funds being held, I actually do have reserves about approving this before we know if the signal is going to be required or not. And as Mr. Antweiler said, then can the signal go in before, this development happens? I think at this point, I would encourage my colleagues to not support this at this time.
Should we continue this to have? Do you think we could do it to the next regular meeting? Okay. What date's the next regular meeting? January 8th. Councilmember Jurenski, then is it your desire to make a motion to continue till January 8th?
January 8th would be good, yes, thank you.
January 8th, very well. Next regular meeting?
And second.
So it's been moved by Councilmember Jurenski, seconded by Councilmember Zvonek to continue to January 8th so that we can have some of the questions answered that we didn't have tonight in terms of traffic safety.
Mayor?
Is there a discussion on that motion?
Yes.
Councilmember Coombs.
So I agree that there's a traffic issue there. I think that traffic issue exists regardless of any future development, and it's our responsibility already to address the speeding, right, to do traffic calming in that location. We have a lot of conversations about red tape and delays and increases to cost of development as a result of council action and city processes. And this is an example of that. This isn't a decision about a traffic signal. This is a decision about a zoning map. And we seem to only do this to higher density projects, and we don't have that conversation about any lower density projects. And so that's deeply concerning to me, right? This is a zoning conversation, not a traffic engineering and traffic calming conversation. So I would urge us to vote on the zoning and deal with our traffic department on our traffic calming needs as a city.
Mayor?
Councilmember Jurenski.
So higher density does bring higher traffic. That's why usually on these higher density projects, we have these sort of conversations. We have a resident who just spoke to us who lives in the immediate area. And as we all know, and what we talk about in Ward 1 is narrow roads, smaller sidewalks, difficulty getting around. So we just heard from a constituent that lives in the area, and this truly is about a traffic signal. I don't think I heard him say one time he doesn't want the project built. He wants to know if a signal is going to go in. So I think we should wait to find out what our traffic department has to say about that and then proceed.
Further
Mayor.
discussion?
Mayor.
Councilmember Hancock.
I would concur with Councilmember Jurenski, being that I have worked over in that area myself, and I understand his concern that, I didn't hear him say either that he was against this zoning at all. But I find that if we don't do this in the beginning, it's not going to be done in the end. And until someone gets hurt, we don't want anyone to get hurt. I'm not opposed to building higher density occupancy units anywhere, but we have to put the safety concerns in play as well. Do these things simultaneously.
Further discussion?
Mayor?
I'm sorry. Councilmember Coombs?
So the street is not narrow there, and the sidewalk is not narrow there. That's not the issue that we have on that site. I've actually spent a lot of time as well on that site. It happens to be right at the entrance to where Councilmember Murillo lives. And we haven't had a conversation, again, until there's a zoning conversation about the danger to the mobile home park residents, the low-income apartment residents, the condo residents, any of the children and families living there, until we now want to have a conversation about delaying zoning on a project.
Mayor?
Councilmember Lawson?
Yeah, I find it very interesting that Councilmember Coombs, she was the former Ward 5 council member when you and I voted against East Bank, and one of the issues was basically the traffic signal, the high traffic going in that area. Although the development is not up right now, there's still going to be a lot of issues there. So when you're talking about high development, it's interesting that in Ward 5, you and I were against that development, which is a high-density project that is coming pretty soon, really soon, and on this one, you're fine with it. So I just find it very interesting how contradictory you are with Ward 5 project, but this one, you're fine with it.
Okay, further discussion? Seeing none, then the question before us is the adoption of item number 12D. I'm sorry, the motion, Jurenski motion to continue to January 8th. And so on the motion to continue, call for the question.
Mayor Kaufman?
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Zvonik?
Yes.
Councilmember Lawson?
Yes.
And the motion passes with 2 no votes from Councilmember Medina and Councilmember Coombs.
Clerk, now please read the title to item number 13A.
Item 13A is ordinance 2023-70, adding section 138-229 of the Aurora City Code pertaining to lead and galvanized service line replacement. And Mayor, we do have one speaker for this item.
Well, let the speaker go ahead and proceed.
Tanya Tabachek.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I was just concerned about, I know you guys were talking about this in the lead regarding this in the study session about replacing lines for homeowners. And I did ask my dad what we had in our yard. I don't know what we do have it. But right now, we just currently this year spent over $9,000 on making our yard waterless. So my concern, I guess, with that is with this project, if there's an ordinance that we're required to change the lines that we currently have, that with the construction, would they also pay for the digging up all the rocks and all the money that I've spent and then putting it back? That's just one of my questions. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak on this issue?
No, Mayor.
Brief presentation by staff, please.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. My name is Earl Wilkinson. I'm Assistant General Manager of Operations for Aurora Water. Just a couple items. So we are federally mandated as water providers to remove the lead and the galvanized lines that are impacted by lead. What we're doing through this process is Aurora Water will cover the replacement costs for the lead service lines or the galvanized lines. When we do the work on the private property, we will try to do something similar to a boring or pull process, so we'll limit the amount of digging on that private property if at all possible. And then we are also going to make the contractor responsible for basically putting the yard back to its condition once we do that work. Couple other items. As part of this, there is federal money that we are seeking through a grant process. The grant process takes a little bit of time because of the environmental work that we have to do before we can get that funding, but we are working on that currently. Probably latter part of the year, we'll be able to obtain some funding, and we anticipate that funding will cover the majority of our replacement costs. So the ordinance that is before you, what it allows us to do is to consider lead lines illegal and the galvanized lines illegal, and also allows us to be able to get on private property to make sure those lines are replaced. These are essentially the last items that are left within our distribution system that contain lead or with the galvanized that are impacted by lead. So that is the reason that we need to remove them.
Yeah, I understand that lead in children is particularly harmful, and developmental disability, learning disabilities. But what's the other metal you talked about?
So the galvanized metal, because it is virtually impossible for us with our records to tell whether or not it was impacted by lead lines ahead of the galvanized within our system. It can be impacted by lead, and therefore the federal government is saying basically you have to prove without a doubt there were no lead lines that impacted that galvanized, otherwise you have to remove it. So that's basically, and in all honesty, it is a material that after it ages, it gets very brittle. So removing it will be much better for our customers, and when we encounter it within our system, we make sure that we replace it currently. So.
And then let me reiterate one point, no cost to the homeowner, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very well. Questions of staff? Seeing no questions of staff, a motion is in order.
Mayor,
Councilmember Coombs.
move to approve 13A.
Moved by Councilmember Coombs, seconded by
Sundberg.
Councilmember Sundberg. To approve item number 13A. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 13A.
Councilmember Coombs?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Will the clerk now please read the title of item number 17A?
17A is the reappointment of relief judges to the Aurora Municipal Court Bench.
Presiding Judge Sean Day.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, I hope that you did receive my updated memo within the last couple weeks. Removing one name for your consideration tonight, that's Vicki Pace Serbo. She has taken a position with the 18th Judicial District, so she's not asking for reappointment. So I'm respectfully asking tonight for the reappointment of two of our relief judges, Katie Allison and Charles Peters. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Questions of the Chief Judge? Seeing none, a motion is in order.
Mayor,
Councilmember Coombs.
move to reappoint relief judges Katie Allison and Charles Peters.
Been moved by Councilmember Coombs, seconded by
Hancock.
Can we see the tape again? I'm going to give it to Councilmember Hancock.
I'll defer.
Okay. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of 17A.
Mayor Kaufman?
Mayor votes yes.
Okay, the motion passes.
Thank you for your consideration. Have a good night.
Thank you, Chief Judge. Clerk, now please read title item number 17B.
Item 17B is the 2024 City Council meeting calendar. Mayor and Council, this is Cecilia Zapata. I'm the Deputy City Clerk. The council meeting calendar is adopted during the last meeting of the calendar year unless otherwise determined at a prior meeting. Once defined, changes to the calendar can only occur under the special meeting rules or with a 2/3 vote of the City Council. Tonight, Council approved Resolution 2023-165 regarding study session and council meeting times. The changes per the approved resolution were applied to the proposed 2024 council meeting calendar provided in the meeting packet. And the question for council tonight is, does council wish to approve the proposed 2024 Aurora city council meeting calendar.
Motion is in order.
Mayor,
Councilmember Bergen.
motion to approve 17B.
Moved by Councilmember Bergen, seconded by
Second.
Hey, you gotta be quick.
Councilmember Lawson. Did you win the prize? Okay. This competition's growing here. Okay. Moved by Councilmember Bergen, seconded by Councilmember Lawson. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of 17B.
Mayor Kaufman
Mayor votes yes.
and Councilmember Hancock. Thank you. The motion passes.
Clerk, now please read the title, item number 17C.
Item 17C is the appointment of members to the Citizens Advisory Budget Committee. Council, again, this is Cecilia, Deputy City Clerk. This is just a reminder that newly elected and re-elected council members may announce the appointment or reappointment of their appointees to the Citizens Advisory Budget Committee, or CABC, during the mayor and council reports. And appointments are requested by January 1st, 2024, and may be announced during any council meeting thereafter. The term of the appointment of each member is from the date of the appointment to the expiration of the term of the council member making the appointment. And again, this is just a reminder to make your appointments or reappointments during the council
Okay,
report.
very well. So council members are free to do it during their own reports. Mayor report. I just want to say thank you to our first responders. A terrible fire first early Friday morning in an apartment building under construction. I think it's being investigated for arson. Another horrific fire, which might actually be the largest in the city's history, on an apartment building in the vicinity of Colfax and Peoria that I saw about around noon on Saturday. I was driving the Colfax corridor, and all of a sudden this big just cloud of black smoke comes up, and then you can just see the flames coming through it. And that I actually went to a church service in the vicinity the following Sunday, and our firefighters were still fighting that fire Sunday morning. So from noon on Saturday all the way to Sunday morning, they were still fighting it, and they were fighting it when I left. Just a horrific fire, and I don't know if, what the status is in terms of whether it's investigated for arson or not. I assume that's a potential in every so it is being investigated for arson. That's my report. Councilmember Lawson. Oh, the world has changed. Councilmember Coombs.
All right, thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to make my appointments to the CABC. Those will be Katrina Zarilli and Benicia Shrestha. And then I just wanted to certainly echo the thanks for our first responders. Welcome officially our new city manager, Jason Batchelor, and also thank the mayor, our Aurora Sister Cities Committee, as well as the other community members who joined us for the delegation to Chihuahua City, Mexico. It was a very well put together trip where we were able to learn a great deal about both the business and economic part of Chihuahua City, as well as their local government operations and programs, and just the culture and history of the place. We met people who have strong ties to the city of Aurora and the state of Colorado. Just randomly, we went to a restaurant for lunch, and they were like, oh yeah, we used to live in Colorado for 6 years. So there's already an existing strong tie between the two cities that I think formalizing that in a sister city relationship was meaningful, thoughtful, and will prove to be fruitful for the city of Aurora. So again, thank you to the mayor and others for that opportunity, and I look forward to seeing the fruit that relationship bears.
Councilmember Jerinsky.
Yes, thank you. I attended the Shop with a Cop event that the Aurora Police Association put on. this was the biggest turnout I have seen of both our Aurora police officers and children in the community, so that was wonderful to be a part of that. I attended the city's tree lighting ceremony, and it was much better this year than last year because it wasn't like 5 degrees outside, so that was also a lot of fun. Beautiful lights and more children from the community dancing. Santa came in a cop car. That was fun. I attended the city's menorah lighting ceremony with Aurora's Jewish community, and got to witness our firefighters and our police officers do a Hanukkah gelt. A Hanukkah gelt is chocolate coins. Do a Hanukkah gelt drop off of the fire truck ladders for all the kids, and I'll be honest, I've been Jewish all my life. I've never seen something that cool. And that was really cool for the kids to witness. So thank you to our first responders for that event, but also, as we've talked about with the fires. I attended the Youth Violence Prevention Program holiday party with all of our partners in the community that work with us on youth violence prevention. Got to hear what they're wrapping up at the end of the year, what they're looking forward to next year. I think that we have some really great partnerships. And then I just want to personally say I'm very proud to announce that I will be a first in my family to officially graduate college. I secretly have been attending. I've been secretly attending the Community College of Aurora since August. Found out that I was just a couple classes away and am going to get my very own degree. And I got to witness firsthand the academic side of Community College of Aurora, and I am so impressed. So a huge thank you to the Community College of Aurora as well.
Councilmember Zvonek.
Thank you, Mayor. So along with Councilmember Drinsky, I attended the Shop with the Cop, and Councilmembers Sundberg and Gardner were there as well. It was great to see so many of our members of our police department there, and as Councilmember Drinsky said, lots of youth. It's always a positive event, and Councilmember Sundberg and I often lament that we wish the media would show up to this event because it really is something positive to see. While the mayor was out of town, I got to be acting mayor, and so he hasn't yet discovered what I've put in the office. He will eventually. I hope it's going to go bad. But I did have the opportunity in my first official duty as mayor pro tem to welcome Santa to the great city of Aurora. And so I hope that all of you, as we're getting ready to wrap up for the year, have a happy holiday season and a happy new year.
Councilmember Sundberg.
Thank you, sir. At the State of the City, in which you did a fine job in your speech, Channel 8, our Aurora TV station, produced a brand new video promoting Aurora, and I thought it was excellent. Some even recent footage of the Santa event, the tree lighting. Councilwoman Hancock and myself, we attended the Walden 35 Affordable Housing Project ceremony grand opening, 100 new units, very sharp place. On time, on budget. They should have done the VA hospital, sir. Civitas.
Ouch.
Civitas donated 675 coats that we helped to give away to elementary school Village East. That was fun and positive. I have a town hall on January 18th, hosted in cooperation with Danielle Jurinsky. Our new city manager will be there, so let's put him in the hot seat and ask him some tough questions. And as well, our new superintendent for Aurora Public Schools, Michael Giles. Let's put him in the hot seat. That's all I have. Thank you.
Councilmember Medina.
Thank you, sir. Yes, I attended Roshni, which is the event celebration of lights in Northwest Aurora. They had a lot of youth dancing and singing, as well as adults from a variety of different immigrant and refugee populations. It was great to attend. I'd also like to add my cab candidates, Deborah Johnson and Erica Alfonso. And that's all I've got. Thank you.
Councilmember Hancock.
Like Council Member Sundberg. We've been quite busy these past few weeks. I joined him at Village East Elementary School, which is in my ward, and we gave out over 600 coats to kids. We styled around, and it was really a load of fun seeing these young people get warm coats. You just take for granted that you get one, and you see a lot of kids coming from different countries. Village East is one of the multilingual schools that has over 90 spoken languages in this school, and so to have these children get warm coats is a great thing. I also want to I get very excited when I'm on the mic, so Mayor, sorry about that, just jumping in there. I'm learning it this is my official second week in office, so I'm still working it out, folks. On the Citizens Advisory Budget Committee, I want to nominate Shane Doyle and Sandy Garcia. Those are my two appointments that I want to add to the Citizen Advisory Committee. I will be having my first town hall on January 11th at the Colorado Early Colleges, so I'm asking that everyone in my ward, and even not, if you want to come, let's talk and get to know each other better. Councilmember Jurinski will be joining me at that time. Boy, she really gets around. She's going to be a busy gal. And we want to talk and meet you because, you know, you are stakeholders in your own life. The cavalry is not coming. You have got to decide how you want to live. And it doesn't work unless you participate. And so we're encouraging you to do that. And how do you do it? You get involved at the community meeting. So I encourage you to attend. And I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas. Be with your family and enjoy the blessings of this season. Thank you.
Councilmember Lawson.
Thank you, Mayor. I did attend the State of the City. Mayor, you did a fabulous job, so giving a vision of the city, so very good on that. I am going to reappoint my CABC appointment, George Peck. I will do another nomination in January, but he will be my CABC reappointment. I will be having two town halls. The first one will be on Saturday, January 13th, from 9 to 11 at Heather Garden Sandberg Auditorium. And my second one will be with Councilmember Jurinski. She will be very busy. She will be with me on January 25th at the Central Rec Center. Our topics are going to be the 225 corridor and the encampments, what has been going on there and action that's been taken. And also we're going to be talking about getting a crime update for Ward 5. I would ask anyone who is interested in those topics, whether you live in the area or not, to attend. And more information and communications will be coming forward. So thank you. And I just want to wish everyone a very safe, prosperous New Year and Merry Christmas.
Councilmember Bergen.
Thank you, Mayor. I also attended the State of the City. Oh, I don't have my mic on. Thank you, Mayor. I also attended the State of the City, and you did a great job. You pronounced my name correctly. I love that.
Well, there's not that much of a difference, right?
Well, the
Francois?
male or female, there's a difference. He's on my naughty list again. I am a board member on the E470 Authority, and we have named Neil Thompson as our interim executive director until we do a national executive search. And then we are also freezing toll rates again, so no raising toll rates this coming year. I also participated in the Region 9 Opioid Governance Board. I'm the vice chair, and we already approved the monies for the 3 years going forward for different programs, but we now have a new tranche of monies that will be going towards for opioid addiction services. And then I also attended the Red Tail Hawk Park Master Plan update and we were able to listen to constituents and what they want to see in the park, some additions there. And what else do I have? I do want to thank our firefighters as well. One fire was in my ward near Addison and Aurora Parkway, and you know, it was early in the morning, I think 2:30 in the morning, and our firefighters, we just hats off to them because they had to really fight that fire and get it under control, and it is under investigation, so more to come on that. And I'm supposed to make some CABC appointments since I was just reelected. I will be reappointing Jim Mattson and also Max Gimmelstein. try to say that 3 times, to the CABC. And then lastly, my town hall is January 17th at the Southeast Recreation Center, and the topics will be snow removal, because that's always popular at that time of the year. So we'll get a presentation from our street operation manager, and then I'm going to do kind of a city government 101 presentation, just to people don't always know the difference between county and city and state, so we'll talk about that. And just end with Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all of you. Thank you.
Seeing no further business before the Aurora City Council, meeting is adjourned.